Good day, everybody. My name is Dana Johnson. I am the Community Development Director for Cobb County, and I am here to go over the code amendments that will be heard by the Board of Commissioners in January and February of 2017. Starting off in Section 2-171, this is the Economic Development Ordinance. In this case, we are just extending the existing jobs incentives for another year. In 2016, the Board of Commissioners received a study on how we can alter our economic development process and policies, and staff is in the process of consolidating that and preparing the appropriate deliverables for the board to consider. In 6-1, we go to our alcoholic beverage ordinance. We have two definitions that are being amended for closed function and for restaurants. And for the closed function, we are allowing alcoholic beverages to be served at our senior centers for things like wine tasting and other events at our senior centers. In addition to that, as I said in the restaurant definition, we are lowering the threshold for the number of seats allowable in a restaurant so that we can encourage small businesses to be created here in the county. And 6-236, under the pricing of alcoholic beverages, we are altering the language in regard to patios to remove any of the exterior barriers that exist between the patio area and those areas outside of the patio. Under Section 13436, we go into the zoning code. For 13436H and 13437G, we are amending the suspension and revocation language as it relates to land use permits to ensure that violations that happen are relevant to the permit that is being issued. Under 13437, the special land use permit under A, we are adding clubs and residential areas, fraternities and sorority houses, and cemeteries as to the lists that require special land use permits. (13468) is the subdivision code. In this particular instance, we are just trying to align the county code with the Board of Commissioners approved development standards as it relates to the powers of the Planning Commission for the as it relates to subdivision plats and things of that nature. Under 13499, these are the appeal procedures for the Board of Zoning Appeals. We are clarifying the language as it relates to the process for how the time frames and the process for appeals occur to make it easier for the community and for our customers to understand how it is that one appeals decisions of administrative staff. Under 13426, this is the site plan and stipulation amendments. We are cleaning up the language so it's clear that all zoning type decisions, whether it be temporary land use permits, zonings, variances, and things of that nature, all of them would go through the same process as it is similar to rezonings for amending stipulations and site plans as laid out in the county code. Under all of the residential zoning categories, we are amending the permitted use sections so that we're removing uses that require special land use permits out of the permitted uses to just add some clarity and reduce confusion of seeing items contained in permitted uses as well under special land use permit requirements. So this is a nice cleanup. For 202.1, which is the Community Care Retirement Community Code, we are removing this in its entirety from the zoning ordinance. And all of the rest of the residential senior living codes, we are incorporating those CCRC concepts into the RSL framework in order to create a single unified residential senior living code that incorporates all types of housing for older persons. Also in the Residential Senior Living Code, we are incorporating some of the ideas from the Atlanta Regional Commission study that they commissioned on our behalf as they were reviewing our RSL code. We are recommending the removal of non-supportive RSL developments from locating on collector roadways. And finally, we are recommending some clarification as it relates to the language for residential senior living developments, whereas the intent of these is that they are for housing for older persons as it's defined under the Fair Housing Act. Lastly, in Section 134-287, this is the donation dropbox ordinance. If the board approves this, they will be allowing us to create a registration fee for these donation drop boxes so that the county recovers its cost as it relates to the implementation of this ordinance. There are a number of ways the community can get involved and have your voice heard as it relates to the different code changes that have been presented here. The Board of Commissioners will have public hearings on January 24th of this year and on February 28th of this year. After the February 28th meeting, the board is able to make a decision on any of the code changes that were presented here today. Also, the Planning Commission will make recommendations to those changes in Section 134 on February 7th, and that's a 9 o'clock meeting. And lastly, the community development staff will deliver the Planning Commission recommendations to the Board of Commissioners on February 14th. That will not be a public hearing. It'll just be an agenda item to deliver those recommendations from our appointed body. And with that, I want to thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.